hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm Bailey from Glowforge.
I'm Nick from
I'm
Glowforge.
not going to say everything twice. Welcome, welcome, hello, hello.
Like, what is she talking about? Okay, all right, yeah.
Thanks for joining us live today. This is so fun. We're doing something a little different today. We're going to actually be printing on stone or rocks. Stone sound is more fancy and formal, but some of these are literally some rocks that Nick picked up on the beach.
Yeah, we have this is the mystery beach rock that you may have seen in the poll.
Yeah, so if you're in YouTube right now, I put up a poll to ask which one we should actually print on today. So the options are granite tile, sandstone coaster, oyster shell, or mystery beach rock, which is this red one right here. Yeah. So if you're on YouTube and you have not yet cast your vote, please do it. We'll give it a few more minutes.
Yeah. I have to say, we were kind of surprised that people went with the granite tile.
Granite is winning right now.
Yeah, which is interesting. I don't know if that's because people have a real use or need for that material.
Yeah, maybe people have, exactly.
Like, if you do, let us know. Like, what would you use that for? Yeah, because oyster shell is one that I want to try because I have some ideas about a technique that I think we could use.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to
So we're doing that whether you vote for it or not.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, we wanted your opinion,
and
then
poll. We're like, well, that's nice, but.
Shh, don't say that.
No. This is real. So right now we are at 65 votes, and granite tile is still knocking it out of the park with mystery beach rock.
Well, we will do it then.
Let's give it a few more minutes. People are still tuning in. But I wanted to mention before we get in too far, there is a discount code for this live stream today. So that's glowforge.com/stoneprint. What that gets you is $500 off Glowforge Pro, which is what we're printing on today. $250 off Glowforge Plus, or $125 off Glowforge Basic. And I believe Pro and Plus are both shipping for free still this month, a holdover from the holidays still. So if you're going to get a Glowforge, now's a great time. Also, last week we premiered a brand new business class called Building a Business with Bailey. That's me. And it went really well. We did a really fun panel with some real Glowforge business owners last week. So it was so popular, we're running it again next week. So if you want to register and be in that, go to watch.glow. I'll put this in the chat too. watch.glowforge.com/build-a-business. Put that in. You can register. That's next week. So that's all about how to run a business with Glowforge, which we've seen a few people do.
Yeah, with great success too.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the main reasons we wanted to do this is we know that when you hear things from Glowforge, there's opportunity for it to be somewhat biased, right? We know and love this product. We've been here for a really long time, but there are so many people out there really doing this in real life that we wanted to find a way for them to speak to you and for you to be able to interact with them. And this class is a great way of doing that. Now, I've not seen the new one, but I did see the previous class we did a while back now.
That one was all about holiday-specific businesses.
Yes.
Like what's your best seller for the holiday? Because sometimes people have year-round businesses and then they pare down their holiday business to just like one or two things to specialize in. Right. So it's kind of all about that. And then this one's just kind of like in general, all different things. And the makers that we have featured, they make everything from, one of them is a couple who has kind of like a, without saying any IP, a wizarding school themed business. They're Hufflepuffs, if you know what I mean. And then, there's another woman who does kind of like hand-drawn outline family portraits. And so just everything in between.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really incredible. It's amazing. And for us here at Glowforge, we're going to plug the community a lot throughout this stream because of how helpful they've been for things like this. But once you have a Glowforge, that's just the beginning of everything, right? That's when you start to interact with the community. That's when you become a member of the community. And I think that's just so important. And for us here, when we're trying to produce things to share with you, we want to provide value beyond just giving you this machine. So these business classes are there for you to take advantage of, to hopefully sell a few things and make a few dollars back. And if there's things like that you've thought of that maybe we can share with you or offer that will make you more successful, or maybe you're just interested and excited about them, do let us know, and let's see if we can get them in the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, I guess we're a few minutes in. We can call the poll. That granite tile definitely still wins with 75 votes. Granite tile is the winner.
Okay.
So we're doing it. I'm going to go ahead and end
This is what
the
we're looking at
poll.
right now. Okay. And this, we have a tile store down the street.
Lucky us.
Lucky us, yeah. Very, very good friends with them now. We've been there a few times. And this is just something that we picked up from their like discount pile. It must have been a box that was open or something like that.
Black, shiny.
Yeah, just black, shiny granite, nicely done. But you can buy this online, all different shapes and sizes. I know people use them for plaques, for memorials, for serving platters, all that kind of stuff. But I think this should give you a good idea of exactly what it's like to print on it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of umming and ahhing about what we should print. I think I'm going to see, let's see how long this takes, and I'm going to maybe share a little bit more of an advanced technique that might be helpful for this kind of thing. Let's see.
So you're going to walk us through, like, so you walk into a tile store and you chose that tile.
Yes.
And now you put it in your Glowforge.
And we're going to see
not
what
a proof grade setting, so.
Exactly. So what are we going to do?
Yeah.
All right. Now, for those of you out there who might be wondering, Glowforge can't cut ceramics or stone or anything like that. So we can't really necessarily apply too much power here. And there is a relatively low risk of anything bad happening. However, as always, with this kind of thing, when you're experimenting with new materials, obviously pay attention to what's going on inside the machine. If anything looks a bit crazy, just lift the lid a little bit. It'll cancel the print.
Yeah, that stops the print instantly. You don't need to unplug it. You don't need to do it. You just
So, don't want to scare anybody out there, but obviously safety is paramount, so just keep an eye on everything.
So when you're experimenting, yes. And you should always stay around your Glowforge when it's printing.
Yes, that is true.
Just how, like, I wouldn't leave a microwave on for 20 minutes and leave it either.
Right,
Same idea.
Same kind of idea. All right, so maybe a little cheesy, but we chose the rock on symbol to engrave on this rock. But I think it will demonstrate what we need to demonstrate. But also, and I didn't think about this until right now, what we're looking at is actually a photograph of what's inside the bed, which just happens to be a black tile on a black background. So we don't really see that very well. So I think what I might need to do is just find a little piece of paper or something to put underneath there, just to provide some contrast. No, I didn't either.
That's super funny. So yeah, you can kind of see it better from the overhead that we just switched to. You can see that we have the tile in there.
Oh yeah, there it is.
But you're gonna put it on a piece of paper.
I'm gonna see what I can.
Give us a little contrast.
This is, if you need wood, we got wood. We got so much wood. If you need paper, this office does not have much.
Paper.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Nick's off screen digging around in a
bin.
box of props we have over here.
Page from a notebook.
All right, let's see.
This is where it turns out that it's just that actually I needed 2 pages from this notebook.
Oh no, that'll help at least.
I think that'll work. Anyway, another point to emphasize here is that you don't really have to be very accurate about what you're doing with this.
Right.
I just put this thing in the middle, roughly centered, roughly straight. We can compensate for any inaccuracy in the app.
Yeah.
And likewise, we just put 1 in here right now, but in the bed, I reckon you could fit 12, 16, maybe 20 in there, something like that. So if you were mass producing these, maybe making them as part of a groomsman gift or a wedding or something like that, you could do a ton of them all.
Get them all set up and press print.
Exactly. All right, so here we are, back to the app. Now, a couple of things that I want to share with you all today. One of them is a tool that I find very, very, very useful when you're engraving on something that's not of known size and dimension.
Yes.
Proof grade materials, we know all about those.
Right.
We developed them, we know the thickness, all that kind of stuff. It's all built into the app. But something like this that you might find on the beach or you buy from a tile store, we don't know. And for placement accuracy, for printing accuracy, it's really important that the software knows how thick that thing is. Now, you could get your calipers out, you could measure it if you really want to, but don't do that. We made robots figure all that kind of stuff out for you.
Yes, calipers,
I mean, I'm a big fan, but I have to say, with the advent of this tool, they're gathering dust in the drawer, that's true. But if we go into the 3-dot menu here in the software, there's a tool here called Set Focus. And with this, what I'm going to do is click on the tile itself, and the printer head, if we switch to the overhead mic, is going to zoom across to that tile. And it's actually going to use another laser and a camera to figure out how tall this piece of material is. And it's going to do some calculations, and it's going to adjust our image here to make it as accurate as possible.
Okay.
Which is pretty nice. Now, sometimes, depending on the material, maybe you just saw that there. The image just changed slightly, basically zoomed out a little bit. And it's compensating for that change in thickness so that when we put our design on top of our tile, it's going to look great. Now, let's get started. I'm not looking for anything particularly precious here. We're doing a bit of an experiment. So I'm just going to go with some arbitrary size in the bottom left-hand corner like this, and we'll see what happens when it turns out. I've got a material up here in the left-hand side left over from the previous print that I did. And obviously, we're not printing on maple plywood right now.
Right.
So whatever settings are inside here are probably not relevant anymore. But let's go through. Let's click onto this little arrow, and we'll see where we're at. So we're looking at about half of the printer's speed, 70% precision power, so that's, you know, kind of middle of the range sort of thing. And then this is essentially the print density. I'm going to switch this back to inches just for a second here, which is again in the 3 dots menu, just so I can see these numbers. Although I'm a metric person, this menu has been in inches for so long, I know it in inches.
That is
so
so
I
funny.
couldn't remember.
Okay, someone's asking in the chat, what are you using to hold it in place?
Gravity.
Yeah, no, it's just a heavy rock,
Yeah.
granite, so it doesn't need anything. What you might be confused by is that we have a piece of paper under it. That was just so that we can see the black stone on the black tray a little bit better.
I should have used a bigger piece of paper, but this is what I have in hand, so this is where we are right now. We'll get in there with a close-up camera when we start printing, so you'll be able to see what's happening. But the reason I'm going to this particular menu here is this is a great way of controlling both how long the print takes and kind of how much power you're dumping in. For example, if we go to 170 here, that's about, if you imagine the laser going across the material like this and it's engraving and it's going one line, moving a little bit, one line, moving a little bit, at 170, those lines are pretty much kind of touching each other. So we've got one line, then one line, one line, one line like this. If you know dot matrix printers, similar kind of thing. And so if you like, with 170 lines per inch, we're kind of touching the material once every time we pass. And then every time we ink that, we're going to be touching that same area multiple times, time and time
and you
again.
would want more when the material is denser, harder?
You want more if you want more detail.
Detail, okay.
Or, and this depends on the material, if you want to dig deeper. For 3D engraves, we overlap those print passes a lot. Now with rock, we can't really get into the rock. So you're kind of wasting a lot of time if you're passing over that same area time and time again. So I don't want to keep this particularly high. So I'm going to stick with 170. We're going to see what it looks like. Now, I'm also interested to see what happens if we just go full speed and full power, because I am not concerned that this is going to do anything crazy. So I'm going to go with this, and we're going to hit print, and we're going to see what happens. Now, full speed is mostly because I'm impatient, and I know you're all waiting to see what happens here too. But you can see how quick and simple it was to make that adjustment so that we could create or test out this print.
This print's only a minute and a half?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It's pretty quick, yeah. So again, for those of you who are familiar, we've got that one button. Everything's already been sent down to the printer. And oh, another nice thing about set focus. If you use set focus, the printer does a bunch of calculations in advance, so when you hit print, everything goes a little bit quicker. So, top tip for you, use set focus even when you don't need to.
Wow,
it'll make everything feel a little better.
So fast.
Oh, and it looks like that works really nicely too.
Yeah, wow.
I'm going to come around the front so I can see a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, that looks great.
I just can't believe how fast it is. For some reason in my mind, I thought that engraving on stone was going to take longer. I don't know why.
Now, maybe there's some geologists out there who might be able to explain what's happening here. I know different rocks react differently to heat. There are some things that can basically melt into like a glass-like raised surface, which is super, super cool.
Right, kind of like, isn't that like embossing? Isn't that the idea of that it kind of melts like a powder? So it's sort of happening naturally.
Yeah.
Well, and then rocks like sandstone, we haven't tried this one. I just bought this on Amazon and brought it in, but we have played with sandstone in the past, and I believe if you engrave it with different speeds and powers, you can actually get different colors.
Yeah, and this is, when I mentioned that more advanced technique, this is what I was thinking about with this. I prepared a little gradient that goes from white to black, and I figured we could print 2 of those with half of them overlapping. And we'll just see what happens and what range of colors that we can get.
We're going to do that on here?
Yeah, on this one. And that's because we kind of have an inkling that that will work for this.
We've seen it, but we don't know. I mean, literally just bought that online. It showed up yesterday at my house, so we'll see, but...
There we go.
Cool, wow, look at that.
That works great.
Oh my gosh.
So let's pull it out so we can see. Now, cool to the touch. No need to wait for it to cool down or anything like that. And there is the results, which, you know, that's a pretty respectable coaster, if nothing else, right there. And if we feel like this is like it's like a textured mark on there now. It's permanent. It's not going to come off.
And you could fill it with something, I think. I don't know, like some kind of finishing material.
With this one, I'm not entirely sure if you could, just because it's raised, and I don't think granite is particularly porous.
Okay, so maybe not with granite.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right that with some you can. And that's kind of secretly why we wanted to try the oyster shell.
Right.
Because we think that might work with that. So we'll get around to that in just a second to see. But that, in essence, was that. That was easy, right?
I can't believe how fast that was. I don't know. For some reason, I guess I thought that it needed like to be a really long, arduous print.
Yeah,
but
no, I don't think so. Now, let's say, for example, you did this and it didn't really turn out. Maybe it didn't go very deep. Maybe it wasn't very dark. Maybe it wasn't very contrasty. What I would do next, personally, as someone who's done this a few times before, is don't take it out. Leave it there and send the same print again. So basically, we're going over the same area twice and see what happens. I might dig deeper. It might change the color. It might provide a more, what's it called, a more contrasty print.
Right.
If that doesn't work, next step I would take is move the design a little bit and then change the speed by about half.
Okay.
And this time, rather than hitting each area twice, you'll hit each area half as fast as you did before. So you're concentrating the heat in there for longer. And that can change the way that the laser interacts
turn
with
the
the surface.
speed down.
Yeah, absolutely.
To create more contrast would be the next
100%,
step. Okay.
And Mike, if you just show my screen really quick, I'll just show people this really fast. So in here, I've got my settings open. These are the settings that we just used. So full speed, full power, 170 lines per inch. The results seem pretty good to me. So if I like that, I'm gonna hit the plus, and I'm gonna save that as granite.
I'm
if I can
so
spell
glad that you can do this. I think it's so good. This isn't a spelling show, Nick. No worries. Spell it however you like.
I'm so pleased. Yeah, and there's not even a British spelling of granite. I can get away with this.
Spell it the British way.
But there it is, under our custom setting. Now, of course, this is an Engrave setting, so you won't find it under cut or score. It's going to be under Engrave. But we can always click into it, we can find it. And if we want to, we can experiment with it. Let's say we made a change here. Maybe we drop that down to 900, not 9,800. We just hit the save button right here, and that setting is then saved for posterity. It's going to be there for the future. So that's that. That was great. That was easy. Maybe too easy.
Let's do another one.
So there's granite. Yeah. Should we try the Sandstone next?
Yeah, I want to see that. I'm eager.
Or do people want to see this was number 2?
The mystery rock was number 2.
Okay. Let's do this one.
They want.
Yeah. Let's do this one next. Now this one is. This is good. This one is a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
So this is actually going to be beyond the printing capability of the machine with the crumb tray inside.
Oh, okay. So we got to take it out.
So we're going to take it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's show everybody what that's like. Because if you're going to be putting things in, they're a little bit bigger, a bit chunkier. Could be a river rock, could be a spice jar, could be a guitar body. What we want to do is open the lid, take the front door down, and then take this piece, which is removable, out of the machine. Now I'm just going to keep it. Can you close that for me, Bailey?
Yeah.
Thanks. Just going to keep it. Just for illustrative sake right now. Now, the top of this surface is about 35 millimeters from the bottom of the machine. Now, I have no idea what that is in inches. I'm very sorry. If I was at my computer, I would tell you. But we want to make sure that our rock is sitting just above that surface by about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. So one thing that's quite handy, I find, is to put the crumb tray on top of the machine like this, get your material, and then find some scraps, which I left just over here.
This is so smart. So you're going to prop up the rock until it reaches the height of the crumb tray, or just above it?
Just above it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's like crashing noises happening over here.
And we don't have to be super accurate with this, of course, because we've got autofocus. We just need to get that surface within range. And I think I can probably go one more with that.
Okay, so check this out.
Yeah,
see what he's doing.
Everybody, what I'm looking at right here. So if I put this across here, you can see that I'm just kind of above that surface.
Beautiful.
There. And I think that should work out quite nicely. And these are just pieces of acrylic that I have around the office. You can use anything that you like. And I'm just making a temporary surface for the material to sit on. Great. So now we've done that. Get that out of the way.
Back up.
Open that back up. Stick that kind of in the middle. Which side should we do? Let's do that side. It looks kind of interesting. And let's see what happens. All right.
So are you going to start with the same settings as last time and just see what happens?
Yeah, let's do it. I think that worked out really nicely. So let's just see.
Someone translated that in inches for you. 1.37795 inches.
There we go. Excellent. That person is better at inches and math than I am.
I was going to say about 1.5 inches. So, I mean, well close.
But there we are. So we're back on our app. Yes, I think everyone can see. That image is updated again, and we can see our new mystery red river rock.
It looks like Space Mountain when the
yeah
when the tray's out. It creates those lines
because
it's the shiny bottom of the Glowforge reacting with the light.
Yeah. If I zoom out, you can see everything there. That's this metal tray is where the crumb tray normally sits. But we're going to once again use that set focus technique. So 3 dots, set focus, and click on that. Now this is a bit smaller, so I'm just going to take a look here and make sure that the laser actually hits the rock where I want it to hit.
It's sending down one little red light, and that's like a measuring light, if you will.
And it blinks really quick. So you blink and you'll miss it, literally. But that hit the rock just fine, so we know that should be okay. It's going to focus, it's going to process, our image is there, it's ready. We already have our design. I'm just going to pop it right in the middle, and let's see what happens. Actually, you know what? I to demonstrate this, I changed the speed, didn't I? So I'm going to put it back up to 1,000, save, and then print. So you can see how quickly we can work through this. Like, experimenting doesn't take very long at all. Oop. Oh, I think it's a hair too tall. I think that's what it is.
I have to take one of them out.
That's all right. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So again, let's show you how quick this is to do. So we'll take this out.
What did it tell you? Just that the print wouldn't work?
That it was too high.
Too high.
Yeah.
Oh, it actually told you that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really handy. I thought we just about had
Glowforge.
it, but maybe not.
So helpful.
So close the lid. It's going to update that image again, just in case we change what's inside, because Glowforge doesn't know that, obviously. We're going to go to set focus, hit that. Head's going to come across and do that measurement one more time. Let's just make sure that the light hits the rock. Yep, bang on. I don't know why I doubt it. It never seems to miss, to be honest.
I just noticed a whole bunch of people more have joined since we started.
Oh,
so
welcome.
I wanted to mention really quick, if you're watching today, that we are going to offer a discount code with this live stream. So there'll be an email coming after this with the code in it that you can click, but it's active now and you can use it. So to use it, you go to glowforge.com/stoneprint. And it'll pop up and say Bailey from Glowforge is giving you up to $500 off your Glowforge Pro. It's also good for $250 off a Plus or $125 off a Basic. But the Pro is what we're using today, and so that's like you could do these same prints at this same speed on your Pro.
Yeah. You could engrave this rock on a Basic Plus or a Pro.
Exactly.
You know, that would
the
work
difference
just
might
fine.
be a little differential in speed.
Yeah. Yeah. But there we go. Same print, same settings.
A minute and a half.
A minute 25. Button is flashing.
Okay.
Let's go for it. Let's see what happens with Mystery Red River Rock.
This is exciting.
Yeah. This is the same. It's a similar kind of color to a house brick. So I wasn't quite sure if this was maybe a house brick that's been washed around in the sea and smoothed out for a while.
Oh, maybe.
Kind of hard to tell, but
yeah, we were texting late last week, and Nick
working.
said, "Oh, I'm going to the beach, so I'll just pick up some rocks for the stream." So that's literally what these are.
Yeah, I have a bag of them just down here.
And same with the oyster shells. They're like
yeah.
Washington State Coast oysters.
Yeah,
delicious.
originals, yeah.
Oh,
No, oysters were harmed in the making of the show. These are very old shells that have been around for a long, long time. But they're very flat, very smooth, and I think they engrave really nicely. So we'll give it a try in a moment. But this is working pretty good.
Oh yeah. We also have some customer prints we could show real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled just a few from Instagram. See what people are really doing printing on rocks.
How do I present this?
Go to like
not
view
like that?
presentation. Or
I thought there was a
something.
giant button.
Right.
Yeah, I really did.
Nick and Bailey figure out Google products. This is the live stream.
Yeah, watch it. Present to use it. This one. Oh no, it's not that one.
Oh goodness.
Does that work? Oh, that's close enough. I
Okay,
think.
here we go.
Sorry about that, everybody.
So this
but yes,
one.
this is fun actually.
That one, it looks like there could be a couple of Glowforge elements there. Maybe the fairy
Yeah,
door and the like Hobbit sign, but then they've engraved like phrases on. Those look like kind of like those are polished stones, which we don't have any polished stones to show you here today. But it kind of obviously removes the polish, and the engrave is kind of in this more gray color.
And I've seen a lot of this type of thing around, especially during the pandemic.
Oh,
yeah, people
you,
decorating
leave
rocks,
them.
words of affirmation, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a really nice idea.
I love that. So there's those, and then this is
Now,
I think that's marble.
Yeah, and we have a piece of marble actually. So if we get round to it, we can show you what this is like.
It's just like a Celtic knot, beautiful.
Super nice and crisp. And this, that one on the left looks kind of similar to what we're
It really
using
does
right now,
actually,
doesn't it?
and in a moment you'll see it looks like a similar printing result too.
Okay, and then this one is, what is this called? I forget.
Agate?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Polished agate. I love that.
And it looks like that's got a nice texture to it as well. It's like a little bit grippy maybe on the surface. That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And then this one, I can't really tell from the photo if this is maybe painted and then engraved. Not really sure.
I'm not sure. I thought it was just an engraved, but I'm not sure. That looks like maybe they put it outside their home, like it says Jackson established 20-something, like this is our home.
And that's nice.
Cool.
I mean, it's so clear and crisp, isn't it?
Yeah,
I do have a painted rock here as well. Maybe we'll have a chance to try that.
Ooh, so many things to do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this one.
Yeah,
This is done.
I thought because this is so quick, maybe what we do is leave it in
Don't
there.
touch it.
And let's
Okay.
run it twice.
Sure.
And
Okay,
we'll show
so
people
let's
a difference
show
in what
the
happens
result
there.
now up close.
Now, it's not quite as contrasty as I'd hoped. Oh, and I'm not sure if it really shows up either.
Kind of hard to see.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, let's try it again.
Okay.
What if I shined my phone light on it? Would that help give us more?
Oh,
Did I just? Oh, I'm leaning against the Glowforge cord.
Oh dear. Okay.
Don't let that happen.
Yes.
Is it going to need to reconnect now?
I think it might do. Let's see. We accidentally unplugged the Glowforge there.
I did with my body over here. There's one cord back here, and I'm leaning on it.
It's all right. It doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. We're just going to wait for the printer to reconnect to the Wi-Fi.
Okay, you can kind of see there.
Yeah. Well, since it's doing this, let's take it out so people can see. Because there is one thing that I think is kind of interesting about this result. If I, can we see it okay like this?
Oh yeah.
How do I? Can you see how the tip of the index finger is kind of darker than the rest of it? Now that piece of rock was lower, so the laser essentially was defocused a little bit as it went down there, which changed things. And if you're thinking about settings, this is a great clue. Maybe what you should try and do is defocus this on purpose, and you might get a more contrasty result. This could be an indication as to different ways that you can make this look even better.
Love it.
So anyway, that's Mystery Red River Rock.
Let's do that.
Kind of interesting.
Let's do the oyster or the painted one. Which one should we do?
I would like to do the oyster. I think that would be a fun one to do. And then sandstone with that more advanced printing technique.
Okay. As soon as this, so the Glowforge is turning itself back on again. I guess we want to put the tray back in too, right?
Actually, we don't have to. We could just put some more material on top of this, and that would be fine. Yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah. So the reason this is happening again is because I just unplugged it. Oops.
But this is interesting, I think, for some of you to see. If you're not aware, obviously Glowforge is this physical thing that prints on stuff like this.
Yep.
But when you put things inside it, there's no jig or fixture or alignment guide for these things. You just stick it in and then use a camera to align everything up.
Right.
And what's happening right now is an automatic calibration the system does every time it starts up to make sure it's as accurate as possible.
That was
it's basically figuring out where its stuff is in space.
Orienting itself within the machine, taking a bunch of little pictures, figuring out where it is.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's it. That's finished. So we're ready to get printing again. So let's move on to the oyster shell.
Ali says, can you explain what you meant by defocusing on purpose?
Oh, yeah. So when you send a print, the printer head's going to come across. It's going to figure out exactly how high that material is, and it's going to adjust the lens inside the printer head so the laser itself is as precisely focused, like a pinpoint of light on the surface. And when you're cutting, that's exactly what you want. So you want something really, really cleverly, carefully focused on the surface.
Right.
When you're engraving, however, you can use that focus as a decorative result. So we can purposely make that laser wider than it currently is. And we do that, I can show you real quick, by coming into our settings here, and I'll just wait for Mike to share the screen. There we go, perfect. This little bit down here, focus height. Right now it's on auto, but if I move it across to manual, I can type a number into here. So for example, if I want to make a nice thick line when I'm scoring on maple plywood, I know maple plywood is about an 1/8 of an inch thick, so I could put in 0.5 of an inch, for example, here, which would purposely defocus that laser and make the line a lot thicker. It's one of those things that's kind of easier to show than to say, so maybe we wrap this into a like a settings masterclass or a deep dive into
settings masterclass. Ooh, I like that idea.
Yeah. Let's see how much time we have at the end. Maybe I can demonstrate for you. But hopefully that helped. All right, so onto the oyster shell. So I managed to find this one, which is really nice and flat, nice and shiny, kind of a cool shape. No idea what to print on it. Do we go with the rock on again, just since we have it? We could, couldn't we?
It's kind of cool to see how the time changes. I guess with the different, I guess you're doing the same settings, so the time
should be the same. Yeah.
Okay.
But I like that time. A minute and a quarter for a print. That's a good time for me.
Nice.
Yeah. So here we are. We have a shell in the software. We can see everything. I'm going to hit the 3 dots menu one more time. Set focus. Click on the shell. I'm going to take that measurement.
You know what I would love to do with? I mean, I'm already married, so I won't be doing this. Maybe, but I think getting like these to be place settings at like kind of an ocean themed wedding could be beautiful.
That could be
you
really
could engrave people's names and then they could set there. Oh, that'd be nice.
I love it. Okay, well, there we go. That's done all the calibration it needs to. We have our same settings, full speed, full power, 170 lines per inch. I'm gonna hit print, and let's see what happens with this one.
Oh, the settings masterclass is getting a yes, please.
Okay.
So we'll
all right.
write that
Well,
down.
think about that one.
That
we can really get into the weeds with that one.
Nerds only.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting.
We'll be there.
I find it helpful to kind of understand how all this stuff works.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're a minute and a quarter, so I'm gonna hit that button.
This is a lot of prints for one stream. Sometimes we only hit that button once in a stream, but
I think it's really fun to see.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. Oh, now it's looking good already. Now, for those of you listening, what I'm hoping here is we're removing the shiny surface on the inside of the shell. And I'm sure that has a name. I'm sure that has...
The shiny surface, yeah.
Yeah, it probably does, right? And then we're revealing the material that's underneath it, which is porous. And I've seen people on the forum, again, our community, sharing everything that they know. Fantastic, thank you. Using a marker pen to apply ink to that porous surface it's absorbed, and then you wipe away the excess, and it leaves a color fill in the
So it'll
engrave.
wipe away from the shiny part.
Exactly.
And so you don't actually have to,
And I think this might work with this. So I grabbed a dry erase marker. We'll see what happens. We'll give it a try. I have these are some hand wipes that I found around the office. So we're not talking fancy supplies or anything at this time. Like I said, we've not tried this before, so we'll see what happens.
This is fun. I like doing it.
It's pretty neat, yeah.
It's showing up.
It looks good. 25 seconds to go. How are we doing on time? I'm just... Oh, okay. We're about half an hour in.
Yeah, it's 11:30 right now, but we've got 111 people watching live right now just on YouTube.
Excellent.
So
that's great. Well,
thanks for
hopefully,
showing up,
if you don't mind hanging around, we can do the Sandstone just after this one, because this one, I'm hoping
it's gonna be cool.
out. Yeah, I think it could be. I think it could be really neat.
That'll probably be a little bit longer of an engrave, though, right?
I think.
So if you can hang around and watch Sandstone, please do.
We'll find out. I'll show you. Anyway, here's our print. Looks good.
Let's show what this looks like. Because it's faint, but hopefully we can.
Yeah. Now this one.
Oh yeah.
You can see it when it catches the light. And actually, you can kind of see the horizontal lines there.
Absolutely,
You know, we were talking about that lines per inch kind of thing.
Yep.
So there it is. So
amazing.
Let's try this. This might be a fail.
We'll see. Watch us fail live.
So this is our pen. I'm just going to go over those marks. And you can kind of see how the ink is being absorbed into there, actually, which is kind of neat. Now this is great. I don't have to color in the lines or anything. I just let the laser do all of the work. So there's that. And we'll take one of our wipes, and then we'll wipe it across. Ready?
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Now there must be some texture here where the ink's kind of got stuck in there, but that worked out pretty nicely for something that we've never tried and didn't spend any time experimenting with.
If you wanted to, you could do the blue over the whole rest of it so that it's kind of like a light clouded background or something.
Yeah, try a different ink.
Wow.
You could even apply, if you're
like
a painter and use liquid mask like in watercolors, you could probably put a layer of that over there, engrave it, and then peel that off. But I mean, you saw how quick and easy that was, and what a striking result that is for something that you could collect off the beach if you have access and you're allowed to pick these things up.
That is so cool.
You know, that's so simple.
Good call. Good call. Not everywhere are you allowed to take stuff off the beach.
Yes.
Yes. Where this came from, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we are rich with oyster shells.
Yes. Yeah. If anybody's ever been to Hama Hama Oyster Farm and climbed the Oyster Shell Mountain,
exactly,
you'll know what we're talking about. But there we go. So let's put this sandstone in and let's try this too for those of you who are hanging on, because I think this is fun. This is stuff that we don't do very often.
I'm excited to see what this is going to be. Okay, so you made a design.
Oh yeah.
That's
so
what this
let me
is?
show you this. Now it's not really a design necessarily. This is more for a test print. Yes. And the reason I want to share this is when we're thinking about creating settings, we're thinking about different variations of power and speed, right? And of course, you can send a print with some power and speed and see what it looks like, and then adjust it and send it again and see what it looks like. But you don't necessarily always know what a material is capable of, or how many colors it can create, or something like this. So what I often like to do is send a gradient and use the vary power feature that's built in. Let me explain that just a little bit for those of you who are maybe not too familiar. So gradient here is going from black to white. And if I zoom in, you can see the little dots, because that's what the laser is going to be doing when it prints. It effectively changes this into a bunch of dots, kind of like a half tone, like a newspaper print.
Yeah.
And the different concentration of dots effectively equals a different density of print and therefore a different color. So I've got one of these gradients like this. And what I'm going to do is actually copy and paste it. And I'm going to put them so they overlap each other like this by about half.
Whoa.
And that way we'll get 2 passes in half of this and then 1 pass in another. And I'm
Smart.
hoping this might show us, because I think
Some
we found in the
different
past that
results.
when you hit it twice at a certain power, you went dark versus light.
There's a couple materials that do this. We know that sandstone is one of them. There's some kind of metal. What is it? Titanium?
Titanium is stainless steel, I think, based on the temperature that you induce in the material, you can change the color
and then
of it
some things have coatings on it that you like paint or coated aluminum or something that you can engrave away. So that's kind of like a color change. Some tiles are like that too.
Yep.
Actually, there's even some two-tone acrylics.
Those are cool.
Yeah,
for sign making and things.
Exactly. So you would engrave away like the main color and it's bright white underneath or something like that.
Real neat. Okay, now I'm showing you something in the app here that I don't normally share with people because if you're not familiar with Glowforge, it can look a little intimidating. Don't worry.
Not for this audience.
No.
They're pros.
Who's stuck with us? Now, the reason I'm showing you this, and I'm showing you this gradient is what we call a bitmap. It's not a vector. By that, I mean it's similar to a photograph. It's made up of pixels. A vector design, which is like the rock-on sign that we just used, is basically a bunch of math that tells the computer where it should put things, lines, colors, that kind of stuff. So if you scale it or change it, it changes by the prerequisite amounts, and the quality does not degrade, it doesn't change. And so the printer prints it in a certain way. With a bitmap, we have to use what we call a dithering, or like a 3D engrave technique, where we look at the color of the design and then we change the concentration of laser dots to try and represent that color. Now, we've got a few different ways that we can do this, but the one I'm going to take advantage of this time is this one called Vary Power. And basically what this does is if we look at these gradients and take these as an example, at black, it's going to use full power. At white, it's going to use 0 power. And everything in between is going to use a different amount of power, represented by that particular point on the gradient. So if we broke it up into 10 sections, you'd basically have 10, 20, 30, all the way up to 100. And the reason I like this is you can look along that gradient and kind of see the bit that you like, and take a guess.
Where might that be?
Yeah. And you can be really accurate with this in Photoshop if you want to, and I'll do that at some point in the future. But this will give you an idea of what level of power will create that type of result. So I'm still going to go full speed, full power. I've got Vary Power. I'm going to use that same lines per inch setting, and we're going to see what happens. Now, hopefully, this works really nicely. If it doesn't, I apologize.
Well, this is a test.
It is a test, yeah. It's something we've not done for a long time. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the sandstone tile that we've tried this with before.
What did we have engraved on it? I can't remember. This was years ago.
It was like a floral pattern, wasn't it? Yeah. But it was kind of like a pinkish.
Oh, yeah, and it was like white. It was a pinkish one, and it was a white pattern. Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, we've done our set focus. I'm going to grab our design. I'm just going to move it down here just for a sec, so we're not using we're not printing right in the middle. Let's hit print. Now, for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Glowforge and the way engraving works, engraving is going side to side, so left to right, working its way from the bottom up, doing multiple passes. So if your design is really wide but not very tall, it can be quite quick to print. So this, 132.
What?
Which is great. If we spun that gradient by 90 degrees, because it would have to work all the way up from the bottom to the top, it would probably take 10 minutes.
Wow.
But this is nice and quick. So let's hit that button, Bailey. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we were right.
Hopefully something cool. Or maybe a mark that we won't even be able to see.
Yeah,
this is a real
who knows?
testing
Yeah,
session.
and I'm going to come around to the front because this is exciting to see. And right now, oh, interesting. Right now we're not seeing an awful lot. I gotta be honest.
Oh yeah, just some white.
Yeah. So I think the more interesting bit of this, or the most interesting, will be when we have the laser hit that same area twice.
Okay.
All right, let's leave this running and we'll have a look at some questions.
Well, the nice thing about the short prints is that, we get to see the results right away.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's
exactly.
great. Sophia is just saying she'd love to do this for her business. Sophia, drop your Instagram or site in the chat. We love to see.
Free promotion is very welcome.
Yeah. Ashley is asking, can you engrave or score over masking fluid? Ooh.
So I made that suggestion just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't actually know because I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I imagine you could, but I don't know the composition of the fluid. So, have a look, see what's in there. We do have some in the office that I noticed earlier on, which is what reminded me of it, which makes me think that we've tried it in the past, but I can't give you any more than that, I'm afraid. So, however, community.glowforge.com, once again, the Glowforge community, I bet you someone on there has already tried it.
Yeah, go on there and just search that in the top bar and see if anyone's given it a go, because there's a lot of experiments on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I got to be honest, this
didn't turn
it's
out
not
as we
the
thought.
overwhelming result that I thought.
No.
So let's do what I suggested before. Let's
print it again.
Let's print it again.
I won't unplug it this time.
Step
away from the Glowforge.
And let's slow it down a little bit. Let's see what happens when we slow it down. All right, we'll stick the same thing. It's just going to think for a second because it's finished the print. It's going to refresh that image.
Sophia says her business is Crowcraft Creations.
What specifically were you thinking about, Sophia? Was there something specific that we showed you that you might like to try?
Yeah, love to know. Tamitra is asking if we can show how to copy a photograph onto something. So glad you asked. We are doing that really soon. We're going to do printing a photo with Glowforge because I don't think I have an example in arm's reach, but you can actually print like, you know, a full 1,000 dots per inch, high quality, high res photo onto wood or stone or what have you. So we'll show that in a couple weeks. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. Any other ideas or suggestions anybody else has out there?
So this is 6 minutes because you slowed it way down. Oh, and you can just tell how much more slowly the head is moving back and forth. Oh, whoa. It's doing all sorts of crazy stuff in there.
But it's interesting because it doesn't really seem to be changing the color at all, which I guess is the downside of using natural materials, right? You never really know what's going to happen.
No, that's the nice thing about, I mean, I think I spent $8 or something on that pack of Sandstone coasters, so not a huge investment to try something out.
Right, and again, this is just the beginning of whatever experiments you might want to do. We could still paint those and engrave the paint away, and you get a really nice result.
Cool idea.
That would work just fine.
Didn't you paint a rock somewhere here?
Yeah, I got a black rock over here.
And so underneath it's?
Underneath it's this color. And
so you could engrave away the black.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, so it looks like that.
To try it out.
So I just used a black acrylic paint. So change the color.
That would be fun.
Yeah, because this particular rock I found around, someone's obviously tried to engrave it. It doesn't look that great, but maybe it'll look good with the paint. I don't know. Again, that's the beauty, I think, of something like Glowforge. It's so quick and simple to try this kind of thing that you can get really creative and out there with what it is you're doing, the techniques that you use. And like Bailey said, we spent some money on these coasters. It didn't work how we expected, but that doesn't matter. There's so many different other things that we can do with these right now that could turn out really great.
It's trying.
It is trying, and it's digging a little deeper. But I'm not so happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, not so cool. We've seen better results with Sandstone before.
I'm going to cancel that print by opening
yeah, let's do the paint one.
Let's do it. Let's try it. Since we're in it, right?
Beth is mentioning that she makes wooden dog tags for her business, Highland Pines Co. So check that out.
Nice.
If you're watching. Thank you for the live. You're welcome, Beth. Thank you for joining. Those sound cool.
Now I'm hoping this rock isn't too tall.
Oh, we didn't even test it.
Yeah, I didn't even measure.
The Glowforge will tell us, right? And we're going to go back to the rock on?
Yeah, let's do rock on for this one. I think that one's more appropriate, right? Especially since it's black. All right, let's load this up, find our design. And of course, anything you upload is saved in your dashboard so we can very easily get back to it. We'll check our settings, 1000 full speed, 170, that's looking good. All right, set focus, let's see what happens. I think we might just be okay. Maybe, let's see.
It moves so fast, can you imagine if it smashed into it? Like, oh wow, really over.
It's definitely happened to me before. Luckily it's very well made and it was fine, but yeah.
There's been a crash.
Not the first time, definitely not the last either. All right, so let's give this a try. Let's hit print. Let's see if it tells us that it's going to work okay. Fingers crossed, everybody out there.
Fingers crossed.
Preparing. Should be a minute 25
This is fun.
again.
I like that we're just printing on the fly here.
Right, winging it.
Who would prepare things for a live presentation? No need.
Well, yeah. I mean, when these things work so simply and so easily, it's just that's it.
Right, Nick and I have been thinking about doing a print along, kind of for Glowforge owners and people thinking about getting Glowforge just because it's fun to hang out with us, we know. So if you have a Glowforge and that sounds like a cool idea, like we would all print something at the same time live, let me know because we're kind of planning things for the next couple months and we like hanging out with all of you.
A bit longer than this.
Right.
We'll just hang out for a little bit, maybe take some breaks, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But there we go. And that already looks great.
Patricia says, has had Glowforge for a year, hasn't done stone yet. Yeah, it's not always the most obvious one. Don't think of it, but I mean.
You can see how easy it is to try and, you know, how low risk it might be. Yeah.
You could really get into it and, you know, make stones, pendants or things like that. Make it, you know, combine it with other materials.
There's one thing, so this is a little tangential, but it's looking good, right?
Yeah.
I found this material the other day when I was looking for fun stones. I forget what it's called, but it's made from layers of paint from automotive shops. So if you imagine when they're building a car and they paint it, the people who are painting it used to sort of test the spray from their spray gun on the wall. And they'd spray a little bit to make sure the pattern was okay, and then they go on and spray. And over time, this builds up, and it's layers and layers and layers of different paints. And people went around, as all of these shops closed down in Illinois and places like that, chipped this stuff off, and it's rock hard because it's car paint. And now people are making it into jewelry.
Oh my gosh!
And if you look at it,
and so
it's
like
a
million layers of colors.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I can't remember. It's a funny name.
That is really fun and clever. I love that. Car paint rock jewelry.
It is called Fordite. I guess after Ford.
Oh,
Fordite. Yes.
I get it.
Yeah. But Fordite, if you look it up, there's lots of it on Etsy. You can buy pieces. People are recreating it. Super cool material. But anyway, here we go. Here's our result here. Let's pick up this. Bailey's distracted.
Sorry, I
You're
just
all
got told that the YouTube link wasn't public, so I'll make it public.
Oh, no.
I think that means everybody who has the link from the email can still watch it, but
Okay, perfect.
people tuning into our channel might have missed it. Okay, but up
So you
close.
can see, up close, this is our results.
Look at all these.
That painted rock worked really good, and obviously you could use any paint you wanted to. There's our granite tile. There's our stone, where we just used a dry erase marker to stone. It's not a stone, is it? That's a shell.
Oh,
my
someone knew
goodness.
Fordite.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And then here is the mystery beach rock, which didn't quite work out as well as we'd expected, and then we accidentally unplugged the machine, and
So we didn't do a second
yeah.
pass, but we could.
But
This
we
was our
could.
first attempt.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
not bad.
And that took us
and then
25 minutes, a bunch
I
of
guess
conversation.
The
and,
sandstone was a fail, but the rest of them were fine.
we don't need to talk about the sandstone.
That's so funny. Sophia, yes, you can pay in installments for the Glowforge printer right now. I think we have financing through a firm available, so you'll see that on our checkout page.
Yeah.
Patricia says, I came in late. What settings are you using, please? Well, Patricia, first of all, or anybody else joining late, you can scroll back, rewind, whatever. This is available now. You can share it. You can watch it in a week. It'll be around. I don't know which you said it started with. Did you find it on the community forum?
I took a guess, an educated guess. I've been here for a while, but I took a guess. Full speed, full power, and 170 lines per inch is what I used for specifically a vector engrave.
There it is.
But if you go to community.glowforge.com, type in rocks, there are so many different people out there who've experimented
and really
sharing
dialed
their
it
things.
in.
Absolutely.
Try this for this result.
Yes.
Try this for this result.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we used the same setting for all 4 of these examples, and it seemed to work kind of all right. So
Standard rock setting.
I'm happy with that.
Love it.
Yeah, hopefully that helped.
Cool.
But that was really fun. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Thanks for hanging
That
out
was
so
great.
long. This is a little longer than we usually do, but you all were here and watching, and that was really fun.
Yeah.
So thanks again for joining. Oh, we do have a discount code available for today's stream. So if you clicked into this because you got an email from me, I'll send an email out after this with the code in it as well. I'll also put it, if you scroll up, I put it in chat earlier. So it's glowforge.com/ Stone. I can't see my notes right now. What is it?
Can you scroll up, Mike?
It's Stone.
No, that's all right.
Stone Print. I just wanted to make sure I got it right. Stone Print. So glowforge.com/Stone Print. That'll get you $500 off the Glowforge Pro, $250 off the Plus, $100 off the Basic. There's free shipping on the Plus and the Pro. And if you're not sure which machine to get, if you're not sure which one is right for you, the Our Products page kind of explains the differences between them, and we've also, the main difference is that the Pro has the pass-through slot. We've done some cool live streams on pass-through, making giant things with pass-through.
We made this plane just the other day,
oh, yeah,
right?
we made,
This was kind of fun. That was kind of unexpected.
If you're gonna make bigger things, maybe the Pro is what you want to go with. So check that out, and we will see you back here live next week.
Absolutely.
All
Thanks,
right,
everybody.
Bye, everyone.